Welcome to It's All About You, a program that keeps you connected to all of the exciting events and services the City of Urbana has to offer. I'm your host, Natalie Kenny Marquez. On today's show, we'll take a look at the upcoming Boneyard Arts Festival and how Urbana is celebrating. Courtney Kwong will join us to let us know what you can do with your old electronics, and Chief Brian Neitlinger will be stopping by. We'll also be joined by Crystal Womble and Nathaniel Banks from the Cranert Center for the Performing Arts. But first, we welcome Sanford Hess back to the program to talk about a new initiative launched by the City of Urbana's Information Technology Division. Hi, Sanford.
Hi, Natalie.
Thanks for joining us today.
My
back
pleasure.
On the show.
Back on the show.
And this
long-time listener, second-time guest.
Wonderful, exactly. That's what I like to hear. So, the Information Technology Division just launched a new program, an open data portal. Tell us about it and why the city decided to do this.
Sure. The city has been tracking information for years and years with all of our police data, our financial data, and then there's other information that we also track. The goal of this open data initiative was to make that information available not just to the public, which is great, but also to our own employees, because in many cases our own employees could only view, say, 4 records at a time. So if you're trying to do analysis maybe on some spending over time and you're just four at a time, or you could print out either these big giant green bar reports or little tiny PDFs that were hard to read.
Right.
So where we're at in general as a society is people are used to the internet. They're used to getting information. They're more asking for information that's lots of data pulled together.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing is we're just taking records that the city already has, pulling them out, putting them out there on the web.
And what kind of data can a person find when they access this open data portal?
Well, right now we have data sets in a couple of areas, and we hope to expand. The big 2 that we have now are the police data, which is both arrests and incidents.
Okay.
Also the financial data. So the city's budget and actuals. Right now it only goes 5 years back, but soon it'll go back a lot farther. Also detail on the spending of the city. Some other data sets include the market. So we have information about the vendors at the farmers market and also the type of products that they offer. We have also posted some information about some nuisance complaints. So we actually have, going back to 2003, all the nuisance complaints that have been posted to the Public Works, which has then does investigations and the results.
Okay. And all of this information, is it easy to access and manipulate once you get into the program itself?
It's very easy to access.
Okay.
So the key, the URL, which hopefully will be on the screen, is data.urbanaillinois.us, or you can go to it from the city's website. We're using a third-party tool. The tool is made by a company called Socrata, and Socrata is actually really has a major, large number of cities in the U.S. are using their tool. It's very easy to use. So what you can do is you can select the data set you want to do, and then within that, you can then start filtering it.
Okay.
And there's different ways to filter. You can filter, if you know, for example, a certain crime code you might be interested in, or from city expenditures, if you know a certain department you're interested in, you can start to look at that information. You can filter it further. You can do sums and graphs and maps. And then at the end of the day, one of the most important things people can do is download that information to a spreadsheet program of their choice.
All right. And is there, once folks go to this website, is there like a tutorial or cheat sheet or something to kind of help go through it for the first time?
Right. It's important because the website really stands by itself. So we do have a tutorial link that has some it goes to a YouTube channel that we've set up with tutorials. And I think this is important, tutorials with our data. So it's actually tutorials of our website. We also have a guide that tells you about the data, sort of what information is contained in each set. So there's more documentation out there. It is going to be one of those things that, when you first come into it, if you haven't used tools like this, it might seem there's a lot of things you can do. But if you watch the tutorials, you'll see it's actually pretty easy to get up and going. The tutorials are just about 3 minutes long.
That's great.
Yeah.
And there's also another part to this. There's an expenditures portion of this portal.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. The expenditures portal is a special sort of graphing tool that is dedicated just to showing spending from the city. And so what it does is it just shows the current year and the prior year.
Okay.
And it's a comparison of where we are in the current year against, and this part's important, the entire prior year.
All right.
So, right now the city's in a July to June fiscal year. So we're in March, we're about 3/4 of the way through the year. So you would tend to see that, the current spend is about 3/4 of what it was last year. That would be a normal proportion. From that, you can then drill down by department or into some of our special purpose funds, go down within our chart of accounts structure, and drill down by division, by grouping, by budgetary category, down to the line item and see. And then you can also query based on the vendors that we're paying or the dollar amounts or the times, all kinds of information.
That's excellent. And all of this information is updated rather frequently, right?
Right. Right now we're doing it at least weekly.
Okay.
We hope to speed that up once we get some better processes in place to load the data. Right now it's a little manual, but we're going to get there. We're going to make it a little smoother. So weekly is what we're committing to at this point.
Well, it's excellent that all this information is easily accessible not only to staff, but also to the public. Can you remind us once again what the website is?
Sure. It's data.urbanaillinois.us.
And if anyone has specific questions about the Open Data Portal, where can they go to find that out?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Their question answered.
We did not put a link on our website to contact us, which we need to do, and we will do that. But I'd say in the meantime, the best thing to do is to go to the Citizens Voice link on our website, and they can reach us directly through that. So that's just on the main page. There's a link at the very top of the city's website for Citizens Voice. You send us a question and we'll respond.
That's great. Thank you so much for all this great information, and look forward to using it.
My pleasure.
One, two, three, four. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. All your farmer friends are there at the market at the square. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning.
And now we're back with Pauline from the Urbana Public Arts Program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me again.
No problem. There is a great event happening later this month, the 40 North 88 West Boneyard Arts Festival, and the City of Urbana is participating. Tell us how the city's going to join in on this event.
Sure. The Boneyard Arts Festival is a really great program. We've always been a great supporter of it, and usually every year we participate. And every year we register the city building, first of all, and we have an exhibition space in the city building lobby. And right now we have works by students from Wiley Elementary School. So it'll be open for the public on April 11th. So come join us.
Yeah.
But this year we're doing something actually really special. We recently completed a new park. It's called the Boneyard Creek Improvements Project, which is at Ray Street and Greek Street. And on April 11th, a Saturday, we'll have food trucks, performances, arts workshops, face painting, really great activities for families. And for the performances, we will have African drumming and dance by Jibril Kamara, who's a local star in West African drumming, and also the Bodacious String Band from Community Center for the Arts.
That sounds amazing. So it's April 11th.
April 11th.
What are the times?
We start at 10 a.m. It'll go through 3 p.m. And the performances are at 10:30 a.m. and at 1:30 p.m.
Okay, and this is part of a larger countywide event, like you mentioned. So are there other things happening as well throughout the weekend?
Yes, there's so many things happening in Champaign County. So 40 North, who organizes the festival, they're the Champaign County Arts Council. So there are dozens and dozens of places. So check out their website and their blog and see what you're interested in.
But for specific information for the city's parts of this festival, where can we go to find out more details?
You can search about our event at www.urbanaillinois.us/arts.
Okay.
And you'll see links to our event there.
And then you're also very active on social media. I follow you, so I get your updates.
Follow us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, Urbana Public Arts.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and we'll see you out there on April 11th.
Perfect. See you there.
Hi, my name is Phil Edwards. I am the Fire Marshal for the City of Urbana. Today I'd like to talk to you about fire safety. One of the top causes of fires in homes is cigarette smoking. In Champaign County alone, there has been 31 fires and at least 2 fatalities in the last 5 years, according to the Office of the State Fire Marshal. When smoking, we would like for you to think about not just the safety of yourself and your family, but the families that are around you. You can practice that type of safety by using extreme caution when smoking. First of all, we ask that you pay attention to your surroundings when smoking. Smoke at least 25 feet away from buildings, and also we ask that you use non-combustible containers to dispose of the cigarette butts. Never smoke in a home that has medical oxygen, because that increases the intensity of the fire. For more information on smoke-free multi-unit housing, you can contact Champaign-Urbana Public Health District at 217-531-4252.
Welcome back to It's All About You, and welcome back, Courtney, onto the program. Thank you for joining us again.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about electronics recycling. April is a very busy month, like we were chatting about earlier, but there's a great program happening on April 11th, an electronics recycling event. Tell us all about it.
Yes, we're having an electronics recycling event on April 11th. It's a Saturday. It will be held at Parkland College in Champaign, and it will be held from 8 a.m. until noon that day, rain or shine. And we're asking people just to follow the signs to enter the event, and to enter the event at Duncan Road.
Okay. What exactly do you mean by residential electronics? And because these are the types of electronics that will be accepted that day, right?
That's correct. Residential, we use that term to mean households only. Okay. So households can bring up to 10 electronic devices to be recycled. And since 2012 in Illinois, there's been a landfill ban on electronics. There's 17 electronic devices that are banned from landfills, which include things like TVs, computers, monitors, printers, scanners, DVD players, VCRs, gaming devices. The list goes on. Sure. But there's a list online at the Illinois EPA's website that lists all the acceptable materials that we will accept at this event. All 17 devices, plus we will accept things like cell phones, stereos, radios, and landline phones at the event.
So you can't just throw them into the garbage. They have to be properly disposed of, and this is one of those times when folks can do it. And there's not a lot of other places to take these things, right?
That's correct. For the most part, there's a couple places, retailers locally, that will accept some electronic devices like maybe old DVD players or VCRs, maybe some computers. However, some of the tube TVs, which we call CRT TVs, the old style TVs that are big and boxy and heavy, and the computer monitors, the old TVs have a little cathode tube in them, which contains lead. So it's a little bit more difficult and expensive to recycle. So many retailers will not accept televisions locally. So that's why this event is so important, that we will be able to accept all televisions at this event. So all your old TVs, console TVs, old computer monitors, you will be able to bring to this event. And then we're also having an event in the fall as well.
All right, so if they can't make it on April 11th, there's another opportunity in the fall, but focus on coming April 11th.
Yes,
and
if you
what
can.
are the times again?
8 a.m. until noon.
And it's over at Parkland College in
Champaign. Yes.
Wonderful. And is there a website where folks can go to get more information, especially on those approved, or the devices that they can bring to this specific event?
Yes, actually they can go to either the City of Urbana's website. We do have a listing on our website under the Residents tab, and then go to U-Cycle. There's information about the electronics ban under electronics recycling, or they can just go to US EPA's website or Illinois EPA's website and get more information about electronics recycling bans in Illinois.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about the electronics recycling program.
Well, thank you.
Take care.
Many of your projects are long-term and they're done in collaboration with others. How do those develop? How do you get started?
They usually start from conversations with people where somebody finds something in their own research that they don't feel like they have all the tools to analyze or answer questions about, and so they bring it out and they say, hey, what do you think of this? And how might you approach this? And so we end up taking some problem that seems like it doesn't really belong fully in either of our worlds and work on it together.
Catch the latest episode of Art Now, presented by the Urbana Public Arts Program, every Monday night at 6:30 and Tuesdays at 11. You can also watch the file on demand via the city's website, urbanaillinois.us/artnow.
And now we're back with It's All About You, and I'm joined by Fire Chief Brian Neitlinger. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Nice to have you on. And you've been with the fire department, the Urbana Fire Department, since 1998, but you've been a firefighter for much longer than that. Is this something you've always wanted to do?
Well, I started as a firefighter when I was in high school. My hometown that I'm from in Catlin, Illinois, had a cadet program for firefighters. And actually the fire department was running short on firefighters, so they went to the high school to get some juniors and seniors in high school to train as firefighters. And we trained with the firefighters, and we were not supposed to respond on the apparatus unless there was nobody to respond. Needless to say, we went on a lot of fires because in a small town, in that day and age, there wasn't too many people working in town.
Sure. And you've eventually, you went from Catlin and then you came to Urbana.
Well, that was actually back in 1977.
All right.
I was 17. And I stayed as a volunteer for several years after that. In fact, 16 years I was a volunteer. And I had a different career choice. I was in skilled trades with General Motors in the Danville area. And when they announced that they were going to close that plant, I made a decision, instead of transferring with General Motors, I would stay local, so I took a firefighter test. And that was at the University of Illinois. And upon completion of the testing, they offered me a job. So my paid firefighter career started in 1993 at the University of Illinois.
All right. And now you're the chief of the Urbana Fire Department, and you've been chief for a couple of years now?
Yeah, I was actually appointed in December of 2013, but I had served as interim chief since June of that year.
All right. And what's a typical day look like for you as the chief?
Well, operationally, I have a different operations chief every third day because they're on a three-day rotation. So I work with my operations chiefs, and they're given assigned areas, and I give them some of the tools they need to do their job. I answer questions for them, and if they need me to do anything there, I'm there for them. I also have the fire marshal that is here every day that I'm here, and I spend time with him daily. And we talk about the direction of that division and the things that we need to do in the education and inspections area of the department responsibilities. And then besides that, I attend meetings with other departments in the city. I'll do budget planning, just the various administrative tasks that come along with being the fire chief. And you know, they're entirely different from when I was an operations chief, because I came up on the operations side of the fire department, which means you're the guy that's getting on the engine and you're answering the calls, you're providing medical care for people, you're fighting the fires, you're doing inspections. So historically, that's where I came from. So the administrative job is quite a bit different than the actual operations firefighter work.
Do you get to go back on the operations side very often?
When I do, it's usually the working fires when we have something burning. And what I do on those occasions, I go to the command car, and one of my operations chiefs will be running the fire. We call him the incident commander, and I'll become his assistant. I'll keep track of the accountability, track where everybody is on the fire ground, and I'll talk to anybody that comes to the window of the command car, whether it be the police department or whether it be the media or utilities. I'll kind of take that stress off the incident commander at a fire scene, because at our fires, it's really important that the incident commander, the guy that's running the fire scene, concentrate on radio traffic and what's going on with the people that are in the burning buildings. You know, we call that people in the hazard zone. So we like to give his undivided attention to those people, then I take care of all of his distractions.
Got it. Well, how many calls does your department typically receive on any given day?
Well, last year we did around 5,500 calls, so that would average about 15 calls a day.
Wow. But not all those calls are for actual fires, right?
Correct.
What type of calls does the department receive?
Well, right out, 49% of our calls are medical-based calls. So we run an EMT intermediate service at Urbana Fire. So our firefighters are able to give an advanced level of care, which would include intubations, they start IVs, there's different drugs they can administer, and a lot of times the guys operating off the engines will have a patient ready to load and go to the hospital when the ambulance arrives. So that's half the calls the guys run. Some of the other calls they run, they'll do carbon monoxide detector calls. We do regular alarms, which is we'll get a tone there's either an alarm system that's been activated or a call of a possible fire. So we'll respond to those, and occasionally those turn into working fires. And a working fire is defined as an actual fire is burning that the guys have to put out.
Mm-hmm. That's all very interesting. Maybe we can go on a tour one day.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe you can even ride along someday and see what the calls are.
I would love to. Sign me up for that.
In addition, we do a lot of rescue calls. I mean, an auto accident, we're actually a regional technical rescue team for the state of Illinois. There's 39 of those teams statewide, and Urbana is one of those teams. And so a technical rescue team does vertical rope rescue, so the guys will dangle off a rope, confined space rescue, trench rescue, and building collapse rescue. So those are all specialty skills that our guys possess, and we have some specialty tools housed at the campus station to do those tasks.
Wow, that's incredible. The city of Urbana is lucky to have such a great and skilled fire department.
Yeah, very well-rounded individuals. I mean, being a firefighter is a lot more than fighting fires.
Sure, and it sounds like it. You told us all about it. Well, I appreciate your time today and talking to us about your role as the chief with the fire department and learning more about what all the department does. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. All your farmer friends are there at the market at the square. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning.
We're back with It's All About You. Thank you for joining us, Crystal and Nathaniel from the Krannert Center for the Performing Arts. Just in going through your event schedule for the month of April, there are so many programs that you have listed on there, but I know you said there's even more going on beyond what folks can see on the website. And Krannert is such a great asset, not just for the university, but for the entire community. So I'm so glad to have you both on today to give us some more insight as to what's happening this month over at Krannert.
Well, thank you so much for having us. There are several events that are coming up this month yet. The Illinois Theater has 2 productions that will be opening in April. One is a Tennessee Williams play, and it's all about nightingales is the title, and then the other is Into the Woods, based on the fairy tale, of course. And then on our marquee season, or marquee series, we'll have Deanna Martin, who's doing a tribute to Frank Sinatra, and of course her father, Dean Martin, and also the Gil Shaham Bach Project, and MoMix. So we have quite a selection of events and programs coming up. And speaking of the beyond what you would see on the season lineup, Krannert Center has been involved in a project, Doris Duke funded project around making communities visible and how performing arts centers, what the relationship is with the surrounding communities, which is why I was thrilled that Nathaniel could join us, because Krannert Center is in partnership on a project, and part of that MCV project is to create and develop a community musical of Dreamgirls, and that will happen in July of this year.
That's fantastic. And I know that there's also tours offered at Krannert. Maybe there's people from the community that haven't been to Krannert in a while or want to see the behind the scenes.
Sure, it's a great opportunity to see what happens behind the scenes. It's about a 45-minute tour. You have an opportunity to visit all of the performing spaces on level 5 in addition to the production areas. And it's a really good insight into what happens and how we make things happen at Krannert Center. Oftentimes our production team are available, or the faculty members that are teaching classes in costuming and scene design are available during those tours just to have a brief conversation about their work and what they're working on for a particular production. So I would advise anybody to come and do that.
And those are pretty regular.
They are. They are daily at 3 o'clock, and if for some reason that doesn't fit your schedule, you can always call at least a couple of weeks in advance and arrange a special guided tour.
That's fantastic. And I know that you have an event mail, and I subscribe to that, and that's really helpful because I have young kids at home, and so I can see what kind of programs are, you know, well suited for their age group, and there's so many free or low cost programs available at Krannert. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Event Mail delivers weekly highlights once you sign on, and it's just a simple process from our website, basic information, your name and your email address. And you also receive information about special features of a performance, any performance changes. You would get that information directly in your inbox. So it's a really helpful way of staying current with any changes or any new developments, and it's an easy process to sign up for.
Before we go, I just wanted to jump ahead a few months. And I know that every other year there is a great event that happens at Krannert, the Elnora Music Festival. What is it? Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, it's a bi-weekly guitar festival and features all caliber of musicians or genres of guitar musicians. So you could hear country, folk, bluegrass, jazz, you name it.
That's wonderful. And that happens later this year.
Yes, it does.
We'll definitely have to have you back on to learn more about the details as those come up.
Absolutely. And within, again, you know, thinking back to your comment about all of the free activities and opportunities to take advantage of, we just had Day of the Drum this past Saturday that started with kids crafting area, hosted by the Idea Store. So we partner a lot with community organizations, and we present those free opportunities, and it's just a good feeling all around to be able to do that, which is, again, you know, back to the Dreamgirls Project. I'd like for Nathaniel to say a few words about that as a community partner.
Yes, we are a community partner with Krannert on the Dreamgirls Project. The we is the Banks Bridgewater Lewis Fine Arts Academy. It's a relatively new organization with, as far as that name, but we used to be called Mo Better Music. So we are basically an after-school program for school-age children in music. But we decided that we wanted to expand our vision and cover more of the performing arts. So that's where the Banks Bridgewater Lewis Fine Arts Academy name comes in. So one of the things that we approached Krannert with was the idea of putting together a community theater focusing primarily on the very talented young people that we have in our community, and then using Cranard's resources. And Cranard said that they would like to work with us on that, and that's where this Dreamgirl Project came. There's some great singers. The Dreamgirls Project brings that out. We've got the book, and we're just now scheduling all the rehearsals and getting the word out so that people know that this is something that we want the community to get involved with. The ticket prices are going to be reasonable, so we're hoping to have a really good showing for it.
Well, that's fantastic. Would love to talk more about it and get the details for the events for July.
All right.
That's great. Always so much happening at Cranard. I think every time I speak with someone from Cranard, I learn about a new program or project taking place, and it's just such a great asset to have in our community. So thank you both so much and for sharing what's happening this month over at Cranard. So for more information on the City of Urbana, you can visit their website at urbanaillinois.us. From there, you can watch this program on demand and download our audio podcast. We appreciate you tuning in today and hope you'll join us again soon. And remember, it's all about you.